Bad.
You know,
What was it?
They finally started to string together, stopped at the rim, but then they couldn't stop fouling.
It was 30. It was 20. Was it 28 of 36 for OKC? 36. Celtics got to the line a fair amount, 22 out of 25, but 28 out of 36 free throws for OKC.
But
The worst 2 free throws of the night, and somebody who's understands basketball better than me maybe can explain it. The Celtics are down 3, I think, and there was 28 seconds on the clock or around there, and with 21 seconds on the shot clock, they fouled. Or they were down 2.
It was 30 seconds left, and they were down 3, and they fouled, and they didn't need to.
Why? Why would they foul? It made no freaking sense.
Because that's how bad the defense is, Jimmy.
It was just like they were trying to play too tight, and like it was a freaking foul. Like, what are you doing?
Brad wanted to save as much time as possible without.
Can you believe Fournier got the steal there too late anyway? But I mean, what a crap freaking game.
But that's a game where Brad has to tell them, do not foul. Do not foul on this play. Just play tight defense. Try to force a miss.
That was stunning. Like even Scallon, Gorman were like, why did we foul here? Like, why would you foul? 30 seconds to go. I mean, you've got a timeout. You get the ball with 6 seconds left. If you play clean defense, you can get any shot you want at that point.
It's unbelievable.
Do you guys want him to play in the play-in at this point? Like I think it'd be fun. Like, let's get them in the play, and they deserve it.
You know what?
Whether we want to or not, they will.
Cut his teeth on being a really good. Keep it moving to the next week of the NCAA tournament. He should be in his element in a one and done setup. He really should be.
Yeah.
If you lose the play-ins, you're in the lottery. You're in the lottery, right? If you don't make the final 8.
Believe so.
Is that right?
So. I think it goes by like how.
No. It's the bottom 13, right?
What I'm saying
14,
is if you don't
14,
make
you'd be 7th.
I'm saying it doesn't matter if you finish 7 and you lose 2 games, you don't make the playoffs. You're not one of 8 teams in the playoffs. So I'm saying if you're not one of the 8 who enter the real playoffs, not the play-in playoffs, are you in the lottery?
Is it done that way, or is it done by record at the end of the regular season?
I think for this new format, I think it's done by the record at the end of the season. So if you're like the 7th team and you get bounced and you don't make the playoffs, you're not going to have a chance at
but
K. It's going to be the K sweepstakes.
So the 10th team that makes the playoffs is still in the lottery?
Yes. That's correct. They can win it all.
They can win it. That's the beauty.
You can win the title and be in the lottery?
Correct.
Yeah. That's why no one should want any part of the Washington Wizards. Because they're going to be in that 9-10 game. And they're probably going to win it.
I mean, that's
and get a lottery pick.
To me, does it come down to, like, is Brad Stevens' future built around the fact that, like, if they do get in the play-in and lose to the Wizards or something like that, does it change? And then Danny can't bring him back. Maybe.
But that's the question everyone's asked. What's the head rolling scenario? Is it first round exit? Is it play-in loss? You know, what's the one that automatically is like we can't live with this?
I think if they wind up in a play-in game and they get beat badly, like thrashed badly,
then he's gone.
I think you got to cut him loose. Because remember, out with Clippers when they were up 3-1 over Denver. Life is good. Doc's the man. He's finally getting them over that second round hump that the Clippers have never been able to get over them. Yeah. Then they collapse. Doc's gone. Ties in. Things change quickly.
Okay, I'm being told
you have to save that culture, right, Sherrod? I mean, I think that's why the Clippers did that. They're afraid that everyone's going to check out. One more year, Doc, and everyone checks out, and then you have to, completely destroy the roster and start from scratch.
So how is that different than if the Celtics get bounced early?
It's not. I'm with you. I agree. I just think that people are going to look at it and compare it to, Brad went to the Eastern Conference Finals this amount of time. It's not about that. It's about the fact that he's losing this team or he's lost this team, better yet. And there's not enough flexibility for Danny Ainge to fix it on the fly. It's not enough time. I'm with you. I mean, the extension for this to happen, there's no way they could have foreseen this, but you're telling me that the core guys, or at least one of those guys, Tatum and Brown says, hey, listen, one morning they wake up during the offseason and say, you know what, Brad's not it. And they go to the front office and present that. You think the Celtics aren't gonna go their separate ways with Brad? They have to. That's what I said does. That's what they're about.
I mean, obviously Brad has shown himself to be a very good coach, and he's had a lot of success here. But you know what? Some of that success you got to look at with an asterisk. And I think back to the Chicago series in 2017 where Rondo comes into the Garden wins games 1 and 2,
And gets
breaks his thumb or wrist or whatever it was,
That could have
does
ended the
not
whole
play
thing.
again. That series changes. They go on to the
Huge.
Eastern Conference Finals. Just
Yeah.
imagine if they would have got bounced in the first round by the Bulls. How could that would have the domino effect that would have had on Brad's lineage as the Celtics head coach?
With everything, because the multiple things everyone says in defense of what's going on with the Celtics this year is they've reached 2 conference finals, and that counts both for Brad and for Jalen and Jason. And so no matter what, anytime you look at whatever negative is happening with the team right now, everyone will always go back to that. They've made 2 out of 3 Eastern Conference Finals. These 2 guys on their own without the support, because they did it without Kyrie and Gordon in the first year, and they did it largely without Gordon last year and Brad. So if they can do it then stands to reason they can do it again, even if it's not happening this year. So it's a fair point because they have done it on their own, that nucleus of Brad and those 2 guys being the main stars.
I just think at the end of the day, the money is going to force the Celtics to stand pat. Keep this core together, keep Brad as coach, run it back at least one more year, regardless of what happens this year.
I think it's easier too because Jeff's scenario is risky.
Those guys check out. I think if everything stays the same, there's a greater chance that Tatum and Brown are going to check out because you're not going to improve this roster. You're not going to bring in pieces that's going to magically flip things around. And the Brooklyn Nets, guess what? They're going to be better next year. You know, the Philadelphia 76ers are probably going to be better next year.
But that's the reason to do it more than anything else, Josue. If you're looking at these guys and it's not working. Not that it's I can upgrade talent to a player like Beal. We're not even having Jeff believes, it's just he's a more talented player. If you can get him, get him.
If you could upgrade a new voice to these young guys, I think that's a strong part.
And I'm with that.
Some could do that.
They might.
But you know what? You don't need to.
Is option A. That's option A. Option B, if you can't do that, or Wick won't pay for the buyout for Brad Stevens, you got to look at option B. Because
I thought you had it the other way around. See, I thought you were saying give Tatum a new running mate over replacing Brad Stevens.
If it's Bradley Beal, I'm in.
If it's Bradley Beal, right? If it's Bradley Beal, right?
I'm not giving Jalen. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if I can get Beal, that might be option A for me.
Okay,
yeah. Right.
That might be
But don't trade Jalen just to trade him. I got you.
No, hell no, hell no.
No one's going to do that.
Again, I really think Jalen has gotten so much better. You got to remember, guys. I saw him in AAU. I saw him at Cal. He sucked at Cal. Now he has made such strides in the last year, to be honest, in what he can do on the half court and his decision making. In the last 2 years, in his perimeter shot, that still doesn't mean I want him shooting a ton of threes. I still think his strength is going to the basket.
You had an early season mea culpa on Brown when you opened up your preseason chit chat around the Celtics was Brown's never going to be a number 2 guy. He's more of a 3 or 4 option. Then he comes out and he shoots 85% from everywhere. And it's like, all right, maybe he is. But again, if he's a 2 and wants to be a 1 and he's going to be, and he and Tatum can't figure it out together, I don't know. Sherrod?
See, I'm not sure I'm not sure that's the issue. I mean, the fact is that we're not talking about, 2 guys who are so diametrically different that they're fighting to be the alpha. I don't think that's happening. And that's why the more I look at this team and their struggles, it's hard to look past the Brad factor. It's hard to look past him not figuring out
the Kemba factor?
Right. Well, the Kemba factor, certainly. But here's the thing. We've seen these guys figure out how to be impactful players as a unit when they've been missing key guys or when guys haven't been less at full strength. We saw that with Kyrie Irving. We saw that with Gordon Hayward. And Kemba is in that same kind of lane of engagement. But Brad hasn't figured out how to get the most out of this team.
How's this? No leadership. And no leadership really from your coach. No toughness. No guy who's going to go in there and MF them. And I think this team needs some of that.
We've talked about that, and that's real. I mean, and when we had Kendrick Perkins on, on the locker room, that was kind of where he was kind of going down that route a little bit.
Yeah,
basically,
I was shoving him.
They need one of they need.
But no, it's true. Almost every answer Perk gave was like, so why do we think this is happening? He's like, that's on the coach. That's on the coach. That's on the coach.
And the staff.
Staff. Right.
Right.
But I
His
kept
staff.
coming back to that. He's
Like
like, he's got to hold, like, sure, Marcus fucks up, but he's got to hold him accountable. Sure, this happens, but Brad's got to tell him not to do that. And yeah, they're doing all of this, but that's on Brad. Like, he came back to it a ton.
And that's
so,
where I think the fix
yeah.
the fix can be it. Maybe the fix isn't Brad. Maybe the fix isn't Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think where you can improve this roster is on the back end, bringing in some veteran guys, some leaders, some proven players in this league that don't necessarily have to cost a lot of money, but that the players respect, the young guys respect. They might not be ready to lead by example because they are pretty young, and I think a lot of people forget that. They've been in the league for a few years, and they're obviously all-star level players, but that doesn't mean that they're ready to lead a team. And sometimes you need a veteran like an Al Horford. I'm not saying bring Al Horford back. Exactly,
Tucker.
a PJ Tucker guy. I mean, I'm just like a guy that doesn't cost much. JJ Redick type of level of money that can still help you, can still be a voice in the locker room, and can still contribute on the court, and that the players can sort of look to. And I think Brad's looking for players to do that too. Brad's not looking to be the center of attention on the team. He wants the players to figure it out oftentimes on their own. And I also think that's where the staff comes in too. You brought in a guy like Evan Turner, I think, to try to connect to the players on some level. And maybe you need to bring in other former NBA players that are kind of looking to get into the league on the coaching side.
You need a badass
those are the
on your
ways
bench.
you can
You
exactly.
need a badass on your bench.
I'm saying PJ Tucker. Like
PJ Tucker, Kendrick Perkins, Leon Poe. You need a guy who cut his teeth as a tough, gritty guy in the league, because
Maurice
those are the guys that become the examples that will help a Grant Williams, who is who he is, but you like him to be a little bit grittier, a little bit more grimier. You need someone like that. If you can't get an actual player, get a damn assistant coach who played the game, who played like that. Because that is something that you need. That's something that
Jerome
is
Allen is not that. Right, Jerome Allen is not that. Larinaga,
good guy.
Is not that.
Well, we talked about bringing KG in and just let him yell at them for a little while and see.
I'm good with that.
Do the Bull Durham thing. Their kids scare them. Like just freaking go in there and just lose your freaking mind on them.
Yep.
By the way, the loser of the lottery. The loser of the play-in games enters the lottery. So to go back to your,
knew it.
That's what I thought. So because that's why I was initially for it. 1, excitement factor. 2, let's see if you've got any balls. 3, if you lose, what's the worst that happens? You enter the lottery. That's not terrible. Roll the dice on that. So
the lottery is, a basically non-zero chance at winning the lottery. So
take it.
I mean, I wouldn't get my hopes.
This year, honestly, the difference between pick 6 and pick 20, you can
none. There's none.
No.
Really?
It's a crap shoot. Every
top 5.
Really, top 4 one down.
Good. That's why you win the lottery.
Yeah. John's like, wait, what? That's true?
Then win it.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they're not going to.
I appreciate all of you guys. Everybody in the chat crushing me. I appreciate that.
Oh, you love that, though.
Are they?
Brown,
He's here
I'm saying to trade Jaylen Brown if you can get a guy named Bradley Beal, who by the last time I checked is pretty effing good. All right. But I also think, yes, you want to fire Brad Stevens? I kind of am at the point where I'm almost there.
Yeah.
See how this thing shakes out, but I'm damn.
I think that's where I'm at.
Well, the chat supports fire Brad. They don't support trade Jaylen, and they are used to Bobby saying really nice things. And then you come in here, Jeff, and you start saying really mean things about the Celtics. And I think
trigger.
I'm an asshole.
Should add the trigger warning for everybody.
You're a bully
I'm an asshole. I've heard it all before. I'm an asshole. I'll be okay tomorrow. I'll wake up and I don't need a box of Kleenex next to me.
And we'll bring you on again, and we want you to be the same asshole next time too.
Absolutely.